March was a weird month at my house. We got sick, we stayed sick. Every time I thought I was getting better, something new and weird happened. And yesterday I spent all day chasing around getting what turned out to be an eye infection diagnosed. But this morning I woke up able to see out of both eyes, so we seem to be progressing in the right direction, thank God. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. This is my Flosstube update that I had hoped to do yesterday. Because as weird as March has been, I've got something surprising to show you. There's a thing that knitters call a black hole, and that is when you are working on a project and no matter how much time you spend on it, it doesn't seem to get anywhere. I am currently in that situation with my banana socks because I thought I was ready to turn the heel. Then I double checked my measurements and I needed a couple more rows before I was ready to turn my heel. And I knitted a couple rows and I checked it again, and now I need even more rows before I turn my heel. I don't know. It makes no sense. And I don't want to be working on this. I want to be working on it when I get the yarn and needles in my hands. Then it turns out I don't want to be working on it. So I'm sure it feels like I have worked a lot more than I actually have. That's the only thing to make sense. What does not make sense is my blue window. When I picked this up at the beginning of March, I had a couple hundred stitches in it. And no desire to finish it. Something happened this month, guys. How? I looked at this early in the month when I started making progress up here and really falling in love with it. And I did the math, and there was no possible way I was going to get this done during March in the best of circumstances. What happened? I still need this section of the shutter. Something is wrong. I cannot find it, so I am working in from landmarks and stitching over stitches that shouldn't be there. And dang it, it is going to be done. Hopefully tonight. But the fact that I got as close to done as I did boggles my mind. This is on 10 count. But there's a lot of colors and shading and stitching, and I cannot figure out how. Nobody is coming along and stitching on it while my back is turned. There is a ton of back stitching. That is for another day. I now have 3 projects in my pile that are going to be waiting to be back stitched when I feel better, and I'm not going to fuss about them now because there is no point to that. I'm going to get the shutter done. I've got a couple more stitches on the flower pot, and I've got a mistake up here that I should probably fix, and then I will fold it up with this chart. And at some point, when I feel a little better, when things are a little calmer, I've got a lot of back stitching to do. The problem with finishing a project like this is that then you don't know what is going to come next. I still have Pink House to stitch. And then the other thing I have to stitch is these. I picked these kits up at the Dollar Tree. And where did the other one go? I found it. They have 8 new cross stitch kits. They come with a hoop and threads and a threader and instructions on the back that teach you how to make an X. And a picture on the front that is just a line drawing superimposed over Ada. Then there's Ada with a design printed on it. I don't think that the person or persons who created this kit know what cross stitch is, because cross stitch, do these say counted? They do not say counted cross stitch. But cross stitch is made up of X's and squares. And these designs do not go over the squares in a way that makes any kind of sense to me. So I don't know what they're thinking. I am, however, very curious to stitch one up and see what happens because I don't think they'll take very long. The other thing I don't get is you have black lines. There is no way the stitching is going to cover the black lines, but I got a little bit of it damp and it looks like these are going to wash off. Wouldn't you put that in the instructions? This one obviously has back stitching because there's black thread in the kit. Wouldn't you put that in the instructions? And this one is printed on the fabric in yellow. I don't understand how these can possibly work. I think I'm going to spend some time curling up on the couch and give it my best effort and see what happens. Just because I want to see if I can make it work. And I probably really need to turn this heel, although that's the least of my worries right now. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and I'm going to stop talking about this window in upcoming Flosstube updates because there's no more window left to stitch. And I'm going to backstitch the Blue Jays and Down Memory Lane before I backstitch this one.